You're listening to Mad Men Sports. And you may be thinking, if you're watching us, of course, this is a completely new setup. To my right we're still on the right, Diamond Dave, and to my left we have Zach. What do you guys think of the new setup, guys?
I love it. Love the stands, love the table, love the chairs. You know, this is the off season. We decided to do some off season upgrading ourselves. If it's an upgrade, let us know in the comment section. If it's a downgrade, let us know. We still have the futon. Don't worry.
I just don't know what to do with my hands.
We are hands free, as you should be if you're listening to us while driving.
Whatever it takes to get closer to you, Zach, I'll do it.
Actually,
you don't like
closer?
being close to me.
I don't want you touching me.
Okay.
That's understandable.
I don't like touching you.
I like touching both of you.
Listen,
guys.
This is a great podcast. It's the second week of the off season. This podcast is presented by Black Button Distilling. Stop in your local liquor store. Try any of their local spirits. We have some off-season news today.
And we will every Sunday night.
Pretty much every Sunday night, there will be Bills news. There needs to be talking about. Hopefully, nothing too crazy. Nothing like, Marcel Darius drag racing down Miles Strip Road or anything like that.
No.
Hopefully we all...
He did that again?
No.
Yes. He actually came back.
Yeah, he did that. He was like, why is this guy here?
He's not doing anything else. You might as well.
Yeah, he's not allowed at the Mongolian buffet anymore. Neither is Dave.
I shouldn't be allowed back there either.
Well,
they do not have my endorsement.
Do we have a story? No, we won't tell.
Here's your story. Tre White today tweeted out, I see a lot of ungratefulness. Weird emoji, ... Okay, bet. Space, comma, space. I know what I have to do. Exclamation point, exclamation point.
I'll put the tweet on the screen, too.
Oh, wow. Jake,
I'm excited
the producer.
about this.
So, there's a lot to unbox there. He sees a lot of ungratefulness. Obviously, we all know what he's talking about.
What's he talking about?
Everyone's always like, oh, man, we could have had Patrick Mahomes on the Bills, which, yes, we could have. But we don't.
Would we even have picked him if we didn't trade back?
Can I just give a quick statement on that real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, this is what the point of the podcast is.
Is he wrong? People are god darn ridiculous. I saw something online today.
I don't need to be that close.
I'm upset. I saw someone online today saying the Bills should tank for Trevor Lawrence or whoever his name is for Clemson. I am sick and tired of people doing this every single year.
You see a lot of crazy things online.
People say
so crazy.
People said that we could be in the Super Bowl right now if we had Mahomes. You don't know that. People said that we gave up a lot for Edmonds and White. You don't know. You could play the what-if game all year. I've said this before, and I mean this, and I'm sorry to upset Buffalo fans. You guys are the whiniest fans in the world. I'm sorry. You are. Every single week, we're just complaining about something new. Tre White is not wrong. He has my full support.
Dave, you're the whiniest Bills podcaster I know.
That's not true.
No, it's not.
Actually, I've talked
true.
to a few people before this, and they all agree. It's unbearable to listen to every single year complaining about what's wrong. What we could be doing differently.
Oh, no.
It's not passion, it's anger, and it's just stupidity. I'm sorry. That's my 2 cents on it.
My question...
And these guys will be upset off camera about me being negative, but I know most of you will agree with me.
Talking over people.
That's all.
So my question is, would we have even drafted him in the first place? We don't even know if Patrick Mahomes was on anyone's board. I mean, yeah, he's a generational player for sure, but I mean, there's a lot of
Hindsight's
questions.
always 20/20. Now, here we are sitting in 2020, right? These guys we have some stock after what happened in that draft. It's been, 3 seasons now of them playing it out. Tre White is an all-pro corner. He's one of the top 3, if not top 1 at his position. He's a Pro Bowler. The guy that they traded back for, they got a first-round pick for. They got Tremaine Edmonds out of that pick. He is now a Pro Bowler. He'll be playing next weekend in the Pro Bowl.
Congratulations,
Tremaine Edmonds. Yeah, the Treys are really the Treys are really taking over in Buffalo. McDermott got this job in January. We just had the anniversary a couple weeks ago, if not a week ago. He had, 3 months to scout before that draft? And listen, if you want to say that the scouting department was in place, sure. It was, but it was also Doug Whaley's scouting department, which we know how terrible that was. Now, McDermott came in. He stuck to what he knew. He wasn't drafting a franchise quarterback 3 months onto the job. And listen, maybe that's a slight on him. I don't care. He drafted an all-pro cornerback and a 21-year-old, the youngest player to ever play in a Pro Bowl. That's a stat that we had to look up, and we're not even still 100% sure if it's true or not. But, yeah, Tremaine Edmonds is going to play in the Pro Bowl. He's got 2 Pro Bowl caliber players. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is fantastic, but would he be the same under Rick Dennison and behind Tyrod Taylor for a season? I doubt it. I really do doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. That simple question.
Yeah, exactly. This is not going to happen.
Formulate even an answer.
What are you saying? Are you saying that do you agree with Tre White or do you disagree with him?
I don't disagree either way. I think that Tre White is talking to a small amount of fans that's ungrateful. I don't think anyone at this table is ungrateful for Tre White.
I'm glad he said it because it's long overdue. We play this game every single year. I think that
you could find that in any fan base, though.
The Bills had the opportunity, and at the time we all thought they were all-stars, and they still might be. Darnold, Rosen, Allen, Lamar Jackson. I think the Bills are 100% still happy with having Josh Allen. He's the quarterback they have. He had a pretty good second year, and next year he needs to take another leap. Besides Lamar Jackson, he's the best quarterback of the bunch right now. So I think the Bills are 100% happy with him. And I don't think I regret anything the Bills have done in the past because we can constantly play the what-if game. I've been hearing that since I was a child with not getting Adrian Peters, just all sorts of players that we could have, should have, got, and we didn't.
Hey, how about this one? The Bills could have had Jimmy Garoppolo, but instead they drafted Cyrus Quandro. You could play that game all day.
Yeah.
Terrell Troop, Rob Gronkowski. You could play that game all day. It's about whether or not what they are once they get here.
And the reason I'm so fired up about it is because I was watching the game today, and that's all people are talking about. All my Facebook and all my feed is saying that the Bills are a joke. We gave up. We should have had so and so. The Bills literally gave up. Would you rather have Tre White, Tremaine Edmonds, and Josh Allen in progress, or Mahomes? That's the stupidest question I've ever heard. Yeah. It's just stupid.
There's no Tyreek Hill in Buffalo.
And Brandon Beane was quoted saying, "We don't win 10 games without Josh Allen." And I mean, I don't think any of us here are disagreeing with that statement at all.
Andy Reid's specialty is quarterbacks, and always has been with McNabb, with bringing Vic back to
Kevin
life,
Cobb look
and now
good for a
Mahomes.
little while.
I mean,
Jeff Garcia, the list goes on.
That speaks for itself.
Alex Smith looked good under Andy Reid.
And I don't have any loss in faith in anything the Bills have done with regards to Ken Dorsey working with Allen, regards to Dable, or regards to McDermott. Everything's fine. It's a good story, but it's a story we need to move on from. It's a story we need to stop talking about.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, we now have our Super Bowl matchup set. We got the 49ers against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, me and Dave spoke about this podcast before the podcast. I don't think I could think of a more exciting Super Bowl matchup at the moment. I'm 100% through the roof. I want to see this top-notch offense go against this top-notch defense. Two great coaches at offense. I mean, the list goes on and on. I think this will be one of the Super Bowls that you will remember forever. Jake, what do you think? Big matchup, right?
Yeah, it's a big matchup. I mean, you look at Morissette today. He had over 200 rushing yards.
Monster.
That's historic.
Unbelievable.
Who is he?
Exactly. And you look at Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, what we have heard all year is the 49ers have been nothing exciting. They've been playing just solid football. And I think they're playing against one of the most exciting teams in the NFL in the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Tyreek Hill, you have Sammy Watkins, you have Travis Kelce, a generational tight end. It's going to be a really good matchup. It's going to be important for the 49ers defense to stop all of their weapons.
Dave, what do you think?
So,
man?
2-minute speech here. I was sorry, guys.
You give him a stand, he gets on a soapbox.
Yeah,
I was asked yesterday about who I want to go to the Super Bowl, as if my opinion matters, and I wanted the Titans because they're an underdog team and it was fun. I also wanted the Packers because of the Aaron Rodgers thing. I did not want the Chiefs, and I did not want the Niners.
Yeah,
and I had reasons for that because I think the Chiefs are just going to dominate anyone they play because they've been so dominant. So I don't want a boring Super Bowl. And then I didn't want the Niners because they don't have a household name. This was yesterday, remember. I thought that it was just so boring to have them in. Today I'm watching the games. They were boring games, but I talked to...
It's because they were so much better than everyone else. I talked to a friend
of mine who's not going to get a shout-out, but she knows who she is,
She?
before the podcast.
Who?
And I think it's going to be one of the most exciting Super Bowls. I think the reasons I gave being the no-namers...
Got Dave going.
The no-namers of the Niners...
Look at him go.
I think that's exciting. Isn't that
the no-namers? They're the San Francisco 49ers. They have Jerry Rice and Steve Young on the sidelines. They're not no-namers.
They could probably still play, but also the Chiefs being dominant. Isn't it just going to be exciting? Mahomes versus Sherman, Bosa versus the offensive line of the Chiefs.
Eric Fisher.
It's just going to be really exciting to watch. Everything that I said yesterday, disregard that. I want that done in 2 weeks.
Who are you talking? Give it a shout out.
I'm excited for the Super Bowl now.
Will you tell us off the air?
Move on, please.
Listen, I think this will be... It's clear that this is probably the AFC's best team. Nice. And it's very, very clear that this is probably the NFC's best team. This is the first time in a while that I feel like these are the best two teams that the two conferences have to offer. Obviously, we saw that the Saints were robbed, last year. The Patriots kind of stick around a little bit longer than they should have. They didn't really provide. They win, but don't provide the best. I feel like these are two dominant teams really stepping up. And I'm excited for the Super Bowl. Can't wait for the party. Oh. Eric's on the fringe, guys. Just want to let you know ahead of time. He's going to Disney the next day for 10 days. So
I'm still bringing the cheese platter.
You stop. Okay.
Wegmans has like a box of 15 mozzarella sticks.
I know, we saw.
We get the mozzarella sticks. We get the pizza logs.
I'll bring some Core Life. I heard Core Life has a really good party platter.
I don't want Core Life for the Super Bowl. What? No. Okay.
No. Actually, bring a Core Life platter. I like that. Let's move on. I'm sorry, guys, that we just had that happen.
We're just excited about the new table.
Let's play. Yes, I hope you guys are digging this. I'm digging it. We're that deep into it. Now, let's get to our next sponsor event
and just a little disclaimer. The camera does weigh. The camera does add some pounds. I am not this unattractive, ladies. I am very attractive. The camera adds this weight.
We start the podcast over, guys. This is fucking ridiculous.
That was weird.
Next sponsored event sponsored by Prima Pasta Pizza Pasta. On the corner of West Chippewa and Pearl. Stop in for your daily lunch special. Say hi to Kevin. Go upstairs for a slice. Overview the scenic skyline of Buffalo.
I have never sat upstairs.
You're not allowed to. So, Jake, let's play your featured game of the week. Now, we're going to try to keep it up, keep it as interesting as possible. Obviously, this might be a little bit of a redundant game of the week.
This will be something fun that you guys can comment on, too.
Absolutely. This will be Mad Men Catch and Release. Jake, an avid off-season fisherman. Let's see how you can do this week, buddy.
I don't catch too much, but hopefully
he does release as much as
a little more successful.
So let's play the game. Tell us the rules,
Jacob. A hell of a girl.
So, thanks, man. So, we're going to bring up some...
Put a mic back in his hands.
2020 upcoming free agents.
Say it with your chest, son.
We're going to talk about some free agents this year. We want to know, we're going to let you know who's staying, who we're letting go.
Diamond Dave's guarantees.
Oh, he's pretty bad at them. Tennessee Packers is an alternate universe that no one is in.
So let's start with the big guy, Jordan Phillips, 9.5 sacks. Sean McDermott and Brandon Beam were talking about how they would be doing a disservice if they didn't let him test the market. I can assume that he's going to want commanding a lot of money. So do you guys think we release him, or do we think we kind of keep him?
First.
I want you to go first. You want rock, paper, scissors it? Rock, paper, scissors, shoe. Oh.
You go first.
All right. So, yeah, Jordan Phillips. It takes a lot for the GM of the organization to say, you know what? He deserves a chance to go make money. Because that means that they're blatantly saying that they are not going to pay him what he feels like he's worth. And you know what? That's fair. You got to give a guy a heads up ahead of time, A. B, they gave him a shot. They picked him off of waivers. They gave him a second contract. They did pretty much everything they can do to give Jordan Phillips the biggest contract he could possibly get for the next stage and maybe final stages of his career. They set him up. This one good season of 9.5 sacks is enough, whether or not it's the system, whether it's the players around, the rotation, no matter what it is. The Bills have always done good by Jordan Phillips, I feel like.
Yeah.
Now, just real quick before I finish my point, would you guys agree that they've done good by him? They picked him up off of waivers when no one wanted him. They put him in a system. They let him flourish. They gave him a second contract.
Would you agree that he reciprocated by doing well by us?
Yeah.
All right, well, let me finish up my point here then. So, yes, he did get 9.5 sacks, but also the Bills have been building up to a point where they've been trying to get younger at that position. They let Kyle Williams go this offseason. They drafted Ed Oliver. They brought him in. They drafted Harrison Phillips last year. They brought him in. They've been building up to let the youth movement of the defense go from the middle of the defense to outward. The defense is going to be the strong point of McDermott for as long as he'll be here as the head coach of the Bills. We're always going to be bitching about 19 points, probably. We're always going to be bitching about an offensive coordinator. That's just how the Bills work. They're never good on both sides of the ball at the same time. It's either Chan Gailey's offense or Sean McDermott's defense. There's no in between.
All right, David.
Everything Zach said is true. What more do you expect out of a defensive tackle than what he did for us? The problem is he's stepping into a numbers game. Harrison Phillips will be coming back. Legit played well. He played legit. Or legit, whatever his name is, sorry.
Legit?
Stylo Tule is probably not going anywhere, especially with old Carolina defensive coordinator back.
Dead cap money, too.
Well, here, I'll give you the lowdown on that. Next year, They have an out on his contract. This year, he would still have a ton of dead cap on that team.
$10 million.
Next year, it's $2.5 million. It'd probably be the year if you wanted to get rid of Star Lotulelei, and if they wanted to get rid of Star Lotulelei, it would be that year.
I think with Jordan Phillips, it's more of a numbers game. I would like to keep him. I do believe the scenario will be that the Bills ask Star to take a pay cut. Whether he does or not, the Bills will make a decision off that. But also, like I said, Harrison Phillips will be back. Ed Oliver played well. I think with him, it'll be a numbers game. Would like to keep him, respect his game, respect what he did for us. He was also very good around the community, if you care about that. And I think he'll be going elsewhere because he's probably going to demand a lot more money than the Bills are willing to pay because they already have a lot of money tied up in that position and in the future.
Absolutely. He's 27. This is going to be his final contract.
And you could probably get Legit.
His big one,
You could probably get Legit for a little cheaper than.
Absolutely.
A lot cheaper than him, actually.
And there's a big rotation there.
And
Jake,
you
what
can
do you
argue
think?
the production will be the same.
Yeah, so I'm taking a look here. We're looking at like their calculated market value. I mean, an average salary per year about $6 million for 3 years, $18 million. You guys with that figure are still not comfortable with re-signing him?
I'm probably not bringing him back no matter what. It doesn't matter unless it's a $2 million a year thing. I'm probably not bringing Jordan Phillips back because there is a Tre White, a Josh Allen, a Matt Milano. Those guys are going to be needing to be paid. I'm not tied to Poyer's. That's another.
I think everyone at this table agrees that we wouldn't be mad if he does come back, but I don't see it happening.
No,
I wouldn't want him back for more than $3 million a year, and I know he's worth more than that. In my world as GM, he's not coming back just because I have two younger guys there, and I don't want to tie up more money on top of Star. They already gave him a second contract. They washed his hands.
Yeah, and people forget before Harrison Phillips went out, he was very productive, and he was like a focal point of the defense.
And to be honest and fair, Jake, I'm so sorry, buddy.
It's all right.
Ed Oliver was taking over starting snaps from Jordan Phillips literally in the back half of the season. And that's a hard position to learn. There's only going to be growth there. Jake, I can't imagine what your answer is going to be. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I don't think that we're going to re-sign him just for the simple fact of money. We have a lot of defensive players coming to the end of their contract who we have aforementioned. We do need re-signing. I mean, a topic for another day would be Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. And then we got, the next couple of years, Matt Milano and things of that nature. So do I think that we need to be spending $6 million a year on a defensive tackle who had a really good year, but historically not so much? No, I don't think we do.
Although I say what I'm always going to say, and I say this to Zach, I say it about twice a week to him. When you're good, you got to pay good players. You got to start paying your players, which we'll get to, actually, in this segment soon. You got to start paying your players. I don't think Jordan's a part of the future, as far as
the problem is they did pay him as one of the pay your players when you're good. They gave him a second contract. I feel like they've done everything by him to the point where they've given him an opportunity to get that 9.5 sacks, and now it's time for you to go find a team that's not to be a jerk, but dumb enough to give you.
It's an unfortunate numbers game, yeah.
Exactly. And he deserves it. He's made the most of his opportunity. Jake, let's move this podcast along.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
So we're gonna go with the Clemson product, round 1 draft pick, 19 overall. We're gonna looking at Shaq Lawson. His calculated market value is $7.6 million a year for a theoretical 4-year, $30.7 million contract. Are we letting him go, or are we holding on to that one?
You go first?
Sure. Go ahead, buddy.
Actually, I'm not going to keep him because I'll tell you why. We have had him for 4 years. I think he's reached his... What more do you want out of him? I think he is what he is. I'm a big fan of this offseason, actually, of just redoing the defensive ends. Keep Hughes, keep Murphy maybe a little cheaper. But I don't see Shaq as needed here. Honestly, I've seen what I need to see out of him. He had a good season. The problem is he only played 8 games well. He was non-existent. I know he was fighting injuries, but he's going to demand a lot of money, and that's most of what I'm saying here. He's going to probably want to be the highest paid defensive end on our team. I'm not doing that. I'm actually saying see ya, and I know that's surprising you guys, but I'm a big believer in re-signing a lot of the players that we have already, with being White, Poyer, Hyde, Milano, and the list goes on. Maybe Dawkins down the line. We have a lot of money on paper right now, but all that money is going to get tied up with some of the players we have, and I don't think Lawson's part of that.
Jacob, go ahead.
I think we have to re-sign him. Jerry Hughes is only getting older. Trent Murphy has had spouts with injury. Shaq Lawson has improved every single year that he's been on this team, and I think he's had a really good team. He brings that spark to the defense that we don't see from a lot of players. I mean, we have Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. They're kind of more quiet, lead by example guys, but in our theoretical world, losing Jordan Phillips, I think we need that guy on the line to hype everybody up, and Shaq Lawson's, I think, is that guy. And I don't think that's meant to be understated as well. I think within the next couple of years, he can be a potential captain with the time put in the system. So I think we need to bring him back. I think we need to take a guy and have him from a rookie and kind of let him mature.
I'm totally Team Jake on this one. And it's not because I don't believe you're wrong on this one, Dave. I think it's to the point where all three of us are getting rid of Jordan Phillips. Brandon Beane's probably playing this game in his head. He's getting rid of Jordan Phillips. It's a message that you're sending to the locker room, if nothing else, at that point. You can't have two guys have career years and not sign at least one of them to show everyone else in the locker room that if you perform, you will get paid. Now, this is an even different circumstance because, yes, they did give Phillips his one more year last year when probably no one else would have. He was kind of an off the stats book kind of guy last year, if you would ask me. But this year, all over the stats, performed to that 1-year contract. Now, Shaq, on the other hand, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, but they told him, go out there, play and perform, and earn your 5th-year option. Shaq was only 3 players that are still on this roster. Well, 2 now at this point, now Lorenzo's gone, that were here before McDermott. It was Jerry Hughes, Lorenzo, and Shaq. All 3 of those guys, leaders, they all stepped up in their own ways. Shaq stepped up this year. And, Dave, you said he played well for 8 games. I don't think Shaq Lawson's run defense showed up as well as it did on the stat sheet. I think about that Ravens game where he played great contained defense on Lamar Jackson to force him back inside. I think he's been a great run overall player. You batting balls down, run defense, sacks. I mean, he has 6.5 sacks this season. That's good enough for, I believe, 2nd on the team. I definitely think you have to keep Shaq Lawson. Now, if that means you have to get rid of Trent Murphy somewhere or something along that lines, shrink your money somewhere else, then I think you have to. But I think Shaq Lawson stays. I don't know about that number. I don't think we keep Shaq Lawson at that number that Spork Track came up with, but I think you keep him.
Interesting. Yeah. And moving on, we'll just do one more. I mean, we still have a lot of off season to go. Let's do the undrafted product out of West Virginia, Quinton Spain.
I was dying to talk about Kevin Johnson.
I mean, if we want, we can add another one.
We can do it next week, too. Don't worry about it. They're not going anywhere.
I want to keep Kevin Johnson. I'll just say it right now.
All right. Well,
pay the man.
Don't listen next week, I guess.
Yeah, Jesus. All right, Zach. Quinton Spain.
Listen, he's a guy that got a 1-year prove-it deal. He's a lot like Shaq Lawson in this term. Brandon Beane, I hate to say it because he did it right, but might be ended up with his foot in his mouth this offseason because he told so many guys, hey, come here, prove it to us that you can perform. And everyone that's on a 1-year deal this year, Phillips, Lawson, Spain, Kevin Johnson, they all performed. They all stayed healthy. The list goes on and on. Now Brandon Beane has a good problem, as we would say on Mad Men Sports. A good problem is having too much production out of guys that you might not want to be able to pay because you have so much, stock invested in other places. But Quinton Spain played a hell of a season at left guard. 100% of the snaps, no sacks. He could have been playing with the Tennessee Titans today. You got to think about that. He left those guys. He was tight with those guys. He's on this team now. Mitch Morse is there. You have to build continuity on the offensive line for a quarterback. He knows what kind of brotherhood they had in Tennessee. Obviously, those guys are running train on defenses with Derrick Henry at the forefront. Now, Quinton Spain, however, Deion Dawkins, Quinton Spain, Mitch Morse, obviously Cody Ford's in that mix eventually. You have to build continuity. John Feliciano's here, but next year you have to pay your man. I don't know how much you're going to be able to give a left guard. It's a weird time because we do have to be conservative while also aggressive with our own guys. It's going to be a boring free agency market, I'm going to tell you that, because they do have to. Their wins in free agency are going to be keeping guys like Quinton Spain and Shaq Lawson.
What more do you? So do you keep him or not?
Yeah. That was the whole speech.
You keep him. I mean, why not? What more do you need to see out of the guy? He played every single snap. Played every single what?
No, go ahead. I was going to say.
Played every single snap, every single game. Sorry. You don't do. He doesn't have to show you anything else. Being talked about continuity. You pay the guy. Probably give him a long-term contract. Give him a nice little raise. Move on.
Yeah, I mean, he was only making about $2 million last year.
Yeah, he deserves a raise for sure.
Yeah. So I also am in agreement. Pay him. Guys, this is kind of looking forward. We have a little time before the draft, but I think we all want to talk about the little event that we're going to be taking place on draft night. Zach, you want to talk a little more about that?
Yeah, so we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube,
which is fantastic. Thank you so much.
That's all on you guys. That we don't do anything. We just talk about Bills, and you guys listen and interact with us. It's been an awesome ride, awesome off season, awesome real season. This has been great. Man Sports is going in crazy directions. We hit 700 Twitter followers, which, if you guys are on YouTube, come on over to Twitter.
Instagram.
Jake runs our Instagram. We're doing good there. Facebook, if you guys are on Facebook, we post something every now and then. We'll get there. But YouTube hit 1,000 subscribers, which means we can do live, live streams. We can do live streams on YouTube. So draft night, we're going to do a little treat for you, for us, for everyone involved, the NFL, who cares? We are going to go live on NFL draft night. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I just want to watch the draft, which, yes, us too. But watch it with us. We're going to give you side-by-side commentary. We're going to have it on in the background. If you're working, if you're doing something crazy, we're not going to be talking so much that you can't listen to the draft. Throw us on. But here's the kicker. We're going to give away a signed, autographed Bills Legends jersey. How do you win it? I don't know.
You tell them.
Wait a second. I do know.
Oh.
So what you're going to do is you're going to email us your mock draft from picks 1 through 22, right up until the Bills pick, even including the Bills pick. And you are going to try to guess all of the picks. We're going to go side by side. Every entry is going to collect 1 point for correct answers. Now, if you get a correct answer, you get a point. If there's a trade that fucks up everyone's mock draft, I understand. We're going to give you a point. That's a free point. It's like bingo. There's a trade that happens, free point. There you go. So send us your mock drafts on an email. Whoever who wins, who gets the most points, most correct answers right, you're going to win that autographed jersey. But that's not it. Second place, you're going to win a little something. In third place, don't worry. We're throwing you a little cash, too.
Cash?
Cash, too. Don't worry. We're a gift card for him, but...
Yeah, can't send cash in the mail.
You can't send cash in the mail.
Not
Could on Venmo, though, but... Listen, we're going to be sending out more info as we get closer. This is just preliminary. Start watching some mock drafts. Read up on it. If you guys are interested, leave a comment telling us, wow, that's a great idea. If you're not interested, tell us one way we could change it up a little bit. Maybe you don't want to live stream. There is going to be a kicker to the live stream, though. You're going to have to at least check in with a comment on the live stream. Now, maybe you're like, oh, screw these guys. I don't want to watch the draft. I want to watch Mel Kiper be wrong about everything. That's fine, too.
I mean, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be awesome.
Hanging out, watching with us like you're in this room with us. We're going to be drinking some Black Button. We're going to be eating some food.
Primo.
You're going to see us in like real life, doing real life things.
Hanging out with the madman.
Giving some real life football responses, some shockers. I know Zach remembers how shocked we were when we drafted Marshawn Lynch in the living room downstairs. It's just real life fun stuff.
I think Jake remembers when I was shocked when we drafted Josh Allen.
We're also doing a mock draft ourselves. We'll be doing a live mock draft, which will be
we'll be building up.
We have a lot of fun stuff coming up, guys.
The draft will be fun.
We are constantly. The wheel's always spinning. We're constantly thinking of new fun things.
Because we completely understand that free agency is probably not going to be as active. We're still going to have many, many episodes on that, but we're going to shower our listeners and faithfuls with just free prizes, just for listening, just for helping us to 1,000, just for continuing to subscribe, continue watching, continue through the offseason. Bills are our lives, and that's the problem. That's why we're all degenerates. It's fine.
Big problem.
But you're here with us, and we're here with you. And we're going to treat you to an autographed jersey. We don't even know who the jersey's going to be yet. We just know we're buying an autographed jersey and shipping it. Free shipping.
Free shipping.
And if you guys have any ideas of things we can
Alaska,
do,
maybe.
Let us know.
Even to Alaska. I know you're listening, Justin. All right, guys.
All right.
Hey, first podcast with a new setup. Again, if you don't like it, let us know. We're probably not going to change it right away if you don't like it. Just get used to it a little bit. Change it a little different. But we can.
We should high five
I love
at
it.
the end.
I don't want to do that. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Comment below. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Thanks for the 1,000, guys.
Podbean. Thanks for 1,000. We're not going to shower you with commercials no matter what happens. Take care, guys. Enjoy.
I don't know what to do with my hand.
You don't have to do anything.